Hi there, this is Matt at State of Flux here with my thoughts on the biggest surprises and snubs for this Oscar season 2024. The Oscar nominations were just announced today, and I'm going to go through each and every single one of them, giving you my thoughts. Some people who were snubbed, some people who I was surprised by, some pleasantly. And yeah, so let's just run through this. We're going to start in the order that comingsoon.net has theirs posted for. So for Best Picture, we have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Of these nominees, I've seen 5 of them. I haven't seen American Fiction. I've heard mostly good things. Anatomy of a Fall, again, I haven't seen. I've heard incredible things. I'm most looking forward to that. That one is available for rental streaming, so I will probably have a review for that up within the next couple of weeks. Barbie is one of my favorite movies of the year. I'm glad this one got love for Best Picture. More on this to come. The Holdovers, one of the best movies of the year. I would be absolutely happy if this one took Best Picture. I don't think it will. I think it's a super long shot, but I did indeed love this film. Killers of the Flower Moon came in really strong when it first came out, has been losing momentum as the awards kind of showed this morning with the nominations. That said, I haven't seen it. I've heard good things. Maestro, I did see. I soft liked it. I was very surprised to see this one make it over things like Color Purple. And like a handful of others. But, I mean, more power to it. It got a nomination. I have thoughts on that one, which I'll touch on shortly. Oppenheimer, I think we all kind of know and suspect that this movie not only was going to get the most nominations of the day, sans Barbie, it ended up destroying Barbie in the nominations lead with 13 nominations. But I think we all expected it to be nominated for Best Picture, and I think we're all expecting it to win Best Picture. Of the nominees that I've seen, this is my least favorite. I still liked it. You can check out my review. I gave it a 3-star review. I think it's a good movie, not a great movie. I did not like the screenplay. But it is nice to see that the Academy highlighted a science fiction film, because I promise you this. I can believe a man can get bit by a radioactive spider and start slinging webs. But I cannot believe that a couple mid-coitus will stop in the act so that she can have him read a book to her just so you can get the famous quote in the movie. That was more science fiction than any Star Wars I ever saw. Anyway, that's my Oppenheimer thoughts. More on that to come. Past Lives. I was enthusiastic with this nomination. I did not necessarily think it was going to get the nomination, but I'm sure as shit happy that it did. This is one of my favorite movies, and this is the one personally I'm going to be rooting for the most for the nominated films. Poor Things, not surprised by this one. I've not heard, or I've not seen this one yet. I've heard very good things for the most part. I've heard that this is Barbie's goth best friend. And that sounds intriguing to me. And then Zone of Interest, I've heard nothing but extraordinarily good things about. So, I'm excited to check that one out too. That one is probably going to be the one that I don't get a chance to see, because you have to see it in a theater, and I don't know if I'm going to have the window of time available to me to do so. But I'll try to see it and try to get that review up. Moving on to Best Actor. Oh, before I move on to Best Actor. What movies do I think were snubbed? I haven't seen Iron Claw, but everybody tells me that was one of their favorite movies of the year. People that I deeply, deeply trust. But it's one of those movies where the screeners probably just didn't get out in time, so it got absolutely zero love across the board. Having not seen it though, and if I were to include one that I have seen, I would put Godzilla -1. I know, Godzilla, it's a big hokey monster thing, but I promise you that movie is good. I think it's worthy of a Best Picture nomination. Moving on to the actor in a leading role category, we have Bradley Cooper for Maestro, we have Coleman Domingo for Rustin, we have Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. Of these, the one I'm going to be rooting for the most is Cillian Murphy or Paul Giamatti. Not necessarily for the performances in their individual films, though I do think Paul Giamatti gave the best performance I've ever seen him give in The Holdovers. But because both of those are just sort of legacy actors that are so good and so often overlooked, especially Cillian Murphy. So, if either of those win, I would be super happy. Jeffrey Wright is another great actor. I would like to see him maybe pull in a surprise win there. And Bradley Cooper's just been trying so hard, man. I'm rooting for you. I hope something comes your way. Who do I think was missing from this list? Honestly, it's a dumb kind of vote, but I genuinely think that a lot of people are overlooking how good Batista was in Knock at the Cabin. I know it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, not known for his acting, but hot damn, that man gave a good performance. Moving on to an actor in a supporting role. It's weird that this didn't go actress next, but whatever. I digress. We have Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction. That was a surprise to me. I know he's been picking up a little momentum, but he's a great actor, so I love that he got recognition from the Academy Awards. Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. I love Mark Ruffalo. I love all the actors in this nomination set. De Niro's won in the past. Everybody else has not, so I'd be happy if one of the non-winners got a chance to finally shine. My heart and mind both say that Robert Downey is like the lock-in to win this, and I'd be fine with that. Though, I would also be very happy if Gosling, Ruffalo, or Sterling K. Brown pulled a victory here. Do I have any people that I personally would have subbed in? Not necessarily so. So I'm just going to move on to actress in a leading role. We have Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller for Anatomy of a Fall. We have Carey Mulligan for Maestro and Emma Stone for Poor Things. So, elephant in the Barbie in the room is, where the hell is Margot Robbie? I genuinely think she gave one of the best performances of the year. I think she gave one of the two best performances of the year, tied with Carey Mulligan. So, my heart is rooting for Carey Mulligan this time around. I don't think she's going to win. I think Lily Gladstone's got this, but Emma Stone could pull a surprise victory, or Annette Bening, honestly. Yeah. Margot Robbie should have been on this list, and I would have swapped out Emma Stone. Mainly because she's won before, and I like to see new people win, and Margot Robbie's put in a string of phenomenal performances, often overlooked. And I think that says something about what the Academy thinks of her, and that's a damn shame. She is going to become the next, like, Kate Winslet and or Leonardo DiCaprio, who just keep getting snubbed to the point where they're going to find victory. But that's needless. She's given great performances, and this year was honestly one of them. The fact that the Academy didn't support Barbie the way that they ought to have, in my opinion, is pretty damning, and I guess more on that to come. So yeah, I would obviously toss in Margot Robbie there. Best Actress in a Leading Role, we have Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. That's awesome. She's a phenomenal actress. She was a damn highlight of that film, and I'm glad she did not get forgotten. Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple. America Ferrera for Barbie. I literally cheered when I saw that. She was my favorite performance for a supporting role of any type in any movie this year, so I was happy to see her get that nomination. Jodie Foster for Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers, who I think is likely to win. But if America Ferrera could pull it, I'd be happy. Who do I think was snubbed here? I don't know about snubbed, but I really liked, oh man, my name is blanking on me. Carla from Cheers was in Barbie in a very small but lovely role, and I adored her, and I can't believe I can't remember her name right off the moment. That's Rhea Perlman. Rhea Perlman gave just lovely performance. It's almost a throwaway performance, but she cements the landing that that movie makes. Without her, honestly, I don't think the glue culminates and comes together well for that climax without her. She was that good. So I would have given her a nomination. I don't know who I would have taken out, but there you have it. I haven't seen Naiad or The Color Purple. I really wanted to see The Color Purple, it just didn't last in theaters long enough. I wanted to watch the original one before I saw the new one, and having just seen the original Color Purple, I was so enthused to see this new one, because the original one might be one of my favorite Spielberg movies. And I did not expect that to be the case, but here we are. So I was really excited to see Color Purple, and I missed it, so I'm going to try and catch that one in a rental. Moving on to animated feature. We have The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think I'm rooting for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I would not be surprised if Boy and the Heron won, or long shot Nimona. That said, I was a little surprised to see that Mario did not get a nomination, because I honestly do think that movie's pretty good. I know the critics were a little harsher on it than most, but it is an incredibly fun, engaging movie, and I think it is the best looking animated movie of the year. Yes, I know, Spider-Man looked glorious, but that movie honestly was a little too busy for my liking. That said, that's the one I will personally be rooting for. Spider-Man is, I think, the best of the nominees that I've seen thus far. Have not seen Nimona, I've heard very good things, and haven't seen Robot Dreams, and I've heard somewhat tepid things. That's why I was a little surprised to see that one on here. But I'm excited to see that one as well. Moving on to cinematography. El Conde, that was one of my big surprises. Oh my god, I can't believe that won. You can check out my review for that movie, which is kind of a mid-review. It's not a great review. However, I thought that film had the best looking movie I've seen all year. So, super happy that got nominated, and that's all it'll take home, because it's not going to beat out the Oppenheimer in the room. Also nominated are Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I gotta say, I'm not in love with the fish lens thing, so Poor Things, if that wins, my brain will explode. I think Oppenheimer's got this, and it's also a stunning looking movie. One of the best looking movies I've seen this year as well, as you get pretty consistently with any Christopher Nolan movie. Moving on to costume design, we have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I'm rooting for Barbie wholly on this one. A lot of these other ones seem like kind of boring choices, if I'm being real with you. Yeah, so go Barbie. Directing. This one surprises me in coming down all the way here, but this is where I wanted to get into things. We have Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. And that was the individual who I think is likely responsible for usurping Greta Gerwig, who is the clear person missing from this list. I think that Greta Gerwig did helm a movie better than anybody else this year. She would have gotten my vote. Christopher Nolan would have been second, and Celia Sung for Past Lives would have been my third place choice. So the fact that both Celia Sung and Greta Gerwig didn't get a nomination was pretty devastating to me. I'd also like to throw in like John Wick Chapter 4. I know it's a John Wick movie. That movie is so lovely, like how it's photographed. So I'd also throw that in the cinematography department. But I think its action and choreography, all things, come together better than any other John Wick movie, or frankly any other action movie I've ever seen, next to maybe RRR last year, for the past 20 years. So just because you make a John Wick movie doesn't mean you should write that one out. Okay, but yeah, Christopher Nolan's going to win this. It's more, I think Oppenheimer is his best movie since Inception. And this is kind of both he made a very strong film for his peeps, as well as this is a bit of a legacy victory for movies that he probably should have won for in the past. Your Mementos, your Dark Knights, your Inceptions. So here we are. Moving on to, though I would be kind of happy if Justine Triet won for Anatomy of a Fall. I've heard she did a bang-up job on that movie, and I heard it's one of the best movies of the year, so that would tickle me if that won. Same for Best Picture. Documentary feature film, Bobby Wynn, The People's President, The Eternal Memory, 4 Daughters, To Kill a Tiger, and 20 Days in Mariupol. The Eternal Memory, if memory serves, I think, is that the one that's the Chilean film? We're getting a lot of Chilean representation. El Conde as well was a Chilean film. My wife's Chilean, so it matters to me. If memory serves, The Eternal Memory is one that's on Paramount Plus right now, and if that's the case, I will check that out and get a review up here shortly. The thing that I think is missing, my favorite cinematic documentary of the year, was The Deepest Breath. It's on Netflix. Check it out. It didn't make the short list. It was eligible, but it didn't quite make that short list, so I knew it wasn't going to get the nomination, but my heart screams The Deepest Breath. Another great one. I know it's a YouTube documentary, and those, for whatever reason, don't count because we don't value our creative YouTubers that are on the more lower level of the industry. However, Patrick H. Willems directed Who is Killing Cinema? A murder mystery, a really fun deconstruction of why cinema is looking like it's dying. Check it out on YouTube. Documentary short, The ABCs of Book Banning, The Barber of Little Rock, Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop, and Nay Why Po. Probably decimated that pronunciation. That one I think is on Disney Plus, if memory serves. I'm excited to watch all these. Watching the documentaries, both shorts and longs, are some of my favorite things, so I'm probably going to hit you guys back with reviews for them as I come, as well as my ultimate predictions when we get to Oscar day. You'll have my predictions in the day and the Oscars at night. Alright, moving on to film editing. We have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I think Oppenheimer's likely to win this, and probably deservedly so. That said, who's missing? The film Missing came out all the way back in January last year. I know you probably don't remember that. That had the best editing of any movie I've seen in, like, eons. Phenomenal. Check out Missing if you haven't seen it, specifically the editing. It literally wowed me. I literally said wow at one point out loud in the theater when I saw it last year. Best International Film, we have Io Capitano from Italy, Perfect Days from Japan, Society of the Snow from Spain, The Teacher's Lounge from Germany, and The Zone of Interest from the UK. Society of the Snow, I've heard extraordinarily good things. So you'll see a review for that. It's on Netflix, coming in the near soon. It's also a J.A. Bayona film. He's helmed some movies I really, really love in the past. The Impossible was one of my favorite movies the year that came out. So I'm really rooting for that one. However, I think Zone of Interest has sealed the deal. Missing from this list, Anatomy of a Fall was not eligible because the country did not submit it. Also, Godzilla -1, Japan did not submit it in favor of Perfect Days. Godzilla -1 is, as of now, my favorite movie of 2023. That would have been on my list. Makeup and hairstyling. We have Golda, the much criticized movie for making Helen Mirren look like the titular Golda, pulled a nomination, so oof. We have Maestro, who they did a genuinely extraordinary job. Also criticized for what they did with Bradley Cooper and his nose. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. I have no real skin in this game. I was very impressed with Maestro. Oppenheimer baffles me. yeah, I feel like there's stuff missing from this list. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, anyone, Barbie for that matter. Music, original score, we have American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And it's funny, if you check out my review, I think I criticized John Williams for kind of hamming that one in, or like phoning that one in. Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I think Oppenheimer has sealed the deal on this one for Ludwig Göransson, who is one of the best current composers. Missing from here, I think that Boy and the Heron, Spiderman into the or Across the Spider-Verse, and my personal pick would be Godzilla -1. But there you have music. The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot. Who would have thought Flamin' Hot would have more nominations than like The Iron Claw, where I hear Zac Efron gave the best performance of his career. I'm Just Ken from Barbie. It Never Went Away from American Symphony. Wahazahi for Killers of the Flower Moon, and What Was I Made For from Barbie. I think one of the two Barbie songs is likely to win this. So there you have. Production design, we have Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. I think that's likely to go to Oppenheimer or Poor Things, but I do think Barbie was the best. And I would be very happy if that won. Animated short film, Letter to a Pig, 95 Senses, Our Uniform, Psychodermy, and War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. Haven't seen any of them, excited to watch them all, along with the docu shorts. The animated shorts are some of my favorites as well as the live action shorts, which are The After, Invincible, Night of Fortune, Red, White, and Blue, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I would like to see all of these. Hey, Wes Anderson pulled one. He did The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. So that's kind of neat. I haven't seen any of these. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think the Henry Sugar one is on Netflix, so I'll check that out. Sound, we have The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, and Zone of Interest. I would be shocked if Oppenheimer did not win this, but if somebody were to take it, I think it would be Maestro. Visual effects. The Creator, Godzilla -1, my boy pulled a nomination. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Napoleon. I honestly think Godzilla might win. It could go to Guardians, it could go to Napoleon, but I think Godzilla wins this one. Go Godzilla. 70 years in cinema, never had a nomination, let alone a potential victory. Who's missing? No, I'm just kidding. Writing, Best Adapted Screenplay. Whew, this one hurts. Okay, so American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Barbie is an original screenplay. They put this one up against incredibly hard odds, to the point where I don't think Barbie's going to win, and it's the best screenplay of 2023. Next to only one other screenplay, which was also nominated. I'll talk about that when we get there. But for Best Adapted Screenplay, my heart says Barbie should win. My mind says that this is probably going to Zone of Interest or possibly Oppenheimer. Best Original Screenplay should have been Barbie, but instead we get Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May, December, and Past Lives. Past Lives is my favorite of these nominations. That's the one I would like to see win. The Holdovers is probably going to win, or Anatomy of the Fall, either of which I would be on board with. And that is our Oscar takeaways. Who do you think was snubbed this year? I didn't mention Greta Lee for Best Actress. I think she gave one of the best performances of the year, next to Carey, Mulligan, and Margot Robbie, as well as there was no love for Saltburn, not for cinematography, not for direction by Emma Fennell or screenplay, but most importantly, not for Barry Coogan. I was really hoping, my boy. I have not seen Rustin. I've heard that's a very good one, so his nomination for Rustin sounds like it was an earned one and a valued one, but my favorite male performance of the year was Barry Coogan, and he was not up there. Same thing with, I've heard Zac Efron gives the performance of a lifetime for Iron Claw, which got a complete shutout. Let me know what your thoughts and takeaways are. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and be tuned for my Oscar micro reviews on in the coming of soons, as well as on Oscar morning. I will give you my predictions of who will win, my actual top 5 of the year, and then the next morning you will get my Oscar thoughts on the winners, the losers, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Peace.